Hello young coders. Today we are going to create a multiplayer game, Ping Pong. Let us see how the game works. Ping Pong is a two-player game. That is why you see two paddles, one for each player, on either side of the screen. The player on the left can move their paddle up and down using the keys W and S respectively. Similarly, the player on the right can control their paddle using the up and down arrow keys on the keyboard. To hit the ping pong ball, a player needs to place their paddle in the path of the ball. The ping pong ball always travels in a straight line. The ball reflects when it hits the top or bottom borders of the window or any of the player paddles. A player scores a point when the other player misses. The scoreboard is displayed near the top of the window. Now, let us look at the code. This game is created using the Turtle library. Hence, we need to import it before we do anything else. After that, we must set up the Turtle screen or canvas. We set the title, background color, and window size. Next, we define three turtle objects. One for the left player paddle, one for the right player paddle, and one for the ping pong ball. We will use these objects to control the three game elements independently. We need to define one last turtle object for the scoreboard, where we will display the current scores of both players. Next, we define functions to move the left and right paddles up and down. The names of these functions help us track which function does what. Next, we set up the keyboard controls for the game. We will use the on key press function to make the game interactive. The on key press function will activate one of the paddle movement functions that we just defined above when the corresponding key is pressed on the keyboard. For example, hitting the W key will call the paddle A up function. Do not forget to use the listen function. Otherwise, the program will not register the key presses. Finally, we will write the main loop for the game. The main loop is a while true infinite loop that will keep the game running forever. The first thing we need to do is update the screen using the update function. Then, we move the ball in a straight line for a small distance using these two lines of code. Next, we check for collision of the ball in a number of possible scenarios. If the ball hits the top or bottom borders of the window, reflect the ball down or up accordingly. If the ball hits the right window border, it means that the player on the right missed their shot. So, we increase the score of the player on the left by 1 and move the ball to the center. Similarly, we check if the ball hits the left window border. In this case, we increase the score of the player on the right. Next, we need to check if the ball hits any of the player paddles. The collision conditions here are quite complicated, so make sure to copy them into your program carefully. Based on all these different conditions, we reflect the ball accordingly. Congratulations! You are done coding for Ping Pong.